It's Jordan Hawkins from Connecticut. He's just turned 21 about a month ago. He's 6'5". The mock draft range I've got of him, someone had him as high as 10. He was down at 21. He shot obviously 39% from three. Everyone remembers what happened through the tournament, leading Connecticut through to the title. He was bombing away. But of course, when he was a freshman, he played 15 minutes a game, hit 1 3 a game, and scored 5 points. So I'm always skeptical of those guys who take that second leap up. Again, an older player. And my question's always going to be, Chuck, and maybe you haven't answered this, like, if you're not shooting threes, what else are you doing? What else can he do? Is he going to attack the rim? Is he going to defend? Can he pass? Can you be a guy that maybe you fit in as a really nice shooter with some ability as a movement guy, but can you ever do anything that justifies being picked at pick 10 in a pretty strong draft to be more than a specialist? I don't think so with him.
Okay, so I disagree slightly. Because I'm a bit higher on him. I also view him in that sort of late lottery range. And the reason I do is because I do see him as more than a specialist. Three-point shooting and movement three-point shooting is certainly what he is best at. And if that's what you are best at and your team likes to use you that way, then you're going to get that specialist label pretty quick. But you have to remember that UConn, as everyone knows, not just won the NCAA tournament, they dominated it. Absolutely stomped everybody. And whenever that happens, whenever you're that convincing, there tends to be a bit more NBA talent on the team than meets the eye. And to me, he was their consistent biggest offensive threat was Hawkins. And yes, they used him off the ball because they had Tristan Newton on the ball a lot. And, trying to run around screens to chase Jordan Hawkins is exhausting for a defense to keep track of him. But he is more physical than you think he is. He's very physical, dragging guys around picks, and he'll do a lot of misdirection. Like, he's very constantly engaged in the game. And when he would get an open lane, he was very good at drawing fouls, because you would think a guy who spends all his time shooting threes is not going to get to the line that much. But I told you, Brandon Miller made almost 150 free throws. Jordan Hawkins made around 125.
He made exactly 125. There you go, bang on.
Yeah. I've studied Jordan a lot, and he shot almost 89%. So that the touch is like top of the class, and he didn't shoot great around the rim. That's going to be something he needs to get better at. He's a little scrawny. That's his question. But that team at UConn really prioritized defending very, very hard. And he has, I think, some of the best overall conditioning in the draft.
Yep.
He was a surprisingly good offensive rebounder, which if you think you're just this skinny, unathletic guy, that's not going to happen. His block rate, I think, was better than you'd expect.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And so you see this player who is going to be able to take a role on a team pretty quickly. He's going to be able to fit into an efficient offense pretty quickly. That they ran a lot of pro style sets at UConn. The speed of the game's not going to be too much for him. And I think that he is big enough and competitive enough and physical enough to lock down a rotation role quickly. And so it's not to the degree with Taylor Hendricks, but it's the same idea. If you're going to be able to play quickly, is that just you're going to be a seventh man in year 2 and you're going to stay a seventh man in year 5? Or does that organic growth that comes with playing a lot of NBA minutes raise your level a little bit? I think, go ahead.
I was going to say is, like, compare him to the role JJ Redick had in the NBA.
So JJ, I think, one of the most gifted movement shooters, ever.
Yeah, that's JJ top end, obviously, with JJ.
And JJ, got whatever he got, 5 contracts in the NBA. If you look in the draft where JJ was taken, he certainly was one of the 10 best players in that class. I think that that's that'd be a great outcome for Jordan, but I think that Jordan has a bit more physical talent than JJ did defensively. JJ was very competitive, and he was one of the best conditioned guys in the league. But there was a natural sort of like foot speed kind of issue with him where he either needed to be with an elite rim protector like Dwight Howard or a very good one later with DeAndre Jordan. And the older he got, the more of a problem it got. Yeah. JJ, I think, also an underrated player off the dribble. And it was almost about knowing when to attack as much as the ability to attack. And I think Jordan has that as well. So I think he's sort of, again, on that scale. And it's just, if he is, again, it's a cliche, but if he's 75% of JJ Redick or something, is 75% of his career, and he's a 3-contract guy, then he is probably one of the 15 best players in the class. I just believe a little bit more in his physicality, and I think that he's going to creep up and surprise people. That's all.
I bet you didn't expect we're going to be doing JJ Redick trivia, but here we are. How many, you talk about making free throws. How many free throws do you reckon JJ Redick made in his senior season?
Oh, boy. I think it's probably underrated. I would say, I don't know, 140, I'm guessing. I don't know.
221. I know. He made over 140 for 3 years. 143, 196, 221. I did not expect that he was getting to the line that many times, but that is that's crazy. Let's go to